It's game time. As I mentioned, this is the largest induction class that we have ever had here at the college, 12 folks. And I've been charged to try to get us all out of here before 9 o'clock. Do I think that's going to happen? Hell no. Because there's too many great stories, too many great things to talk about tonight. I'm excited to, first off, excited to see so many of the faces I haven't seen for so long, but more importantly, excited to hear the stories that the presenters, the stories that the recipients are going to say. So we're going to start with our Meritorious Service Award winners. And as I mentioned, we began this in 2017. We were sitting at the Hall of Fame committee. I think we were sitting in Hendron Hall, if I remember right. And we were just talking about how do we honor those who weren't the greatest athlete or the greatest, that they did it on the field. There's so many people behind the scenes that have done so much for this great institution. And I can't remember who it was that brought it up in the copy. And I said, what about like a Meritorious Service Award? Whether it be someone who's run the scorers table, someone who's donated time and effort, people who have helped with meals. I mean, there's so many different layers that people have done to be able to help our community. So we inducted 3 great people 2 years ago, Cisco Lumbago, Buzz Bonaminio, and Gray Wolf. And tonight we get an opportunity to more than double that number, as we're going to have our 6 next Meritorious Service Award winners. So hopefully, technology works. I told Dr. Caro, who's going to be coming up here momentarily, that I came up with a great, interesting number about him. Dick Caro has to be one of the longest tenured C of I people that there is. Now remember, the College of Idaho has been around since 1891. It's the oldest liberal arts school in the state of Idaho. That's 128 years. Dick Caro came here as a student in 1952. That's, do your math, I know there's a lot of people here. That's 67 years associated with the College of Idaho. That's 7 decades. Dick Caro was an outstanding guard on our men's basketball team back in the 1950s. He, after coaching a couple places, came back and he was our men's basketball coach starting in 1961, took our team to the NAIA National Championships. He coached many other sports. Then what did Dick do? He goes and filled in, and he was our athletic director. He taught in our physical education department. And since he was done coaching, he's become one of our biggest boosters, our biggest fans. And I can't remember a basketball game or a football game when Dick wasn't there. One of the most gracious individuals with his time and his effort, and he bleeds purple and gold unlike anyone else. Our first Meritorious Service Award winner tonight, Dr. Dick Caro.
Guess what? It's got to come down. Thank you for the kind words, Mike. Appreciate that. And it's wonderful to be with you folks here tonight. It's a wonderful event, and to be with my family and friends that are with me as well. And as I look out and I see, former players. They're still players, actually. They could probably suit up and go out there right now. And they're going to get some awards on their own. And I'm proud of them. And let me just say thank you very much for the recognition And one other guy that I really appreciate is Ed Bonaminio, was a super guy. And that's probably the only time I've ever said anything nice about him. Other than that, thank you very much, Michael.
So Dr. Caro was here 67 years. Our next recipient is not too far behind. Another guy who bleeds purple and gold is Carl Christensen. Was a quarterback of our football team back in the mid-1960s, was a dual sport athlete, played both basketball and both football. And he's told me a couple times he wasn't the greatest quarterback and he wasn't the greatest basketball player, but he gave it his best shot. After graduating, he's been a pillar of the city of Caldwell ever since. He was one of the Coyote Athletic Association presidents. He has always been there for our student athletes. During the summer, if they need a job, Carl knows who to call to be able to get a student athlete a job. When we needed help at the scorer's table for basketball, we called Carl. He was always right there. He works with youth football during the fall for years, allowing young kids a chance to learn the game, and he's helped give our baseball program an opportunity as a fundraiser to be able to go and help officiate those games. But more importantly, when you come to a C of I basketball game or a football game, you know that Carl's going to be there screaming his lungs out and trying to will this team to victory. One of the best guys that I know. Congratulations to Carl Christensen.
Not sure why I'm here, but I am. More ways than one. As I look out there, I see City League basketball drinking partners. I see one of the best tennis players the college has ever had, even though he wasn't really here as a tennis player. The short guy, B.J. Humphreys. If you know anything about tennis, B.J., and this was according to B.J., was clocked at being able to serve 140 miles an hour. I see Sean Humberger over here. We've had a lot of fun together. Sean and his previous, Tim Mooney, the previous coach, they've just done wonders for our Little League football program. We use baseball players as referees. Sometimes they get confused between strikes and tackles, but just to see all of the people and all of the connections, and that's what this college is all about. It's a community, and it's going to continue to be a community. The strength of the student body, I mean, when you see these students, when they're here on campus, they're just a great bunch of people, and I'm proud to say that I went to this school. Thank you.
You know, people know who Cher is, right? John Calpin knows who Pele is, right? If you say Jordan, most people know that's Michael Jordan. Well, around here, when you say just the word fennel, everybody knows who Jim Fennell is. For 30 years, Jim Fennell was the face of our physical education department. So many student athletes were able to learn from Jim Fennell the ins and outs of the PE department. He helped, in his latter days, help create the kinesiology department, which is now health and human performance here at the C of I. But more importantly, he was a mentor and he was an advisor to student athletes to help them from day one when they got here to the college until the day that they graduated. And I think it was Jack Cafferty that told me that one of the best things that has happened is, Jim will come back and make calls to prospective now alumni to help donate. And he'd make a phone call, wouldn't even say who he was. He would just say, hello, so-and-so. And the first thing that everyone would come out of his mouth, at their mouth would be, Fennel! Shows how much Jim Fennel meant to our student athletes here, and definitely to me. Our Meritorious Service Award winner, Jim Fennel.
"45 minutes is what I got, right?" It's really pretty simple. It started with 5 people: Arthur DeRozier, Marty Holly, Tim Mooney, Dave Hahn, and my wife. 48 years together. Somebody asked me, said, "What did it cost you to get this?" And I go, 6 presidents. Mark is 14 deans, I think, isn't it? Something like that. 14 deans and 1,200 students. And somebody said, "How do you know that?" I said, "I had to clean my office out." And it was all those records. And you don't think about it. You guys just blessed me richly. This is a special place. You guys know it's a special place. And that's what sells it. Michael, thank you for your words. To the committee, appreciate it. To the College of Idaho, go Yotes. Thank you.
The Noon Ball Wizard. Those of you who have come to the C of I and know that Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, that from 11:30 to 12:30, the faculty and staff come out and play basketball. And for years and years and years and years, till some injuries derailed him, but he's back out there still. Mark Smith was always one of those guys who were mixing it up with the student athletes, with the faculty, and the staff. Mark's been at the C of I since 1989 and is one of the greatest historians that there is. But even more so, it's what he's given to our athletic department that has been huge. He was the faculty athletic representative, and a lot of you probably don't know what that means, but he's the person who helps certify every student athlete to make sure that they're eligible to play. If a kid isn't eligible, he's the one that lets us know that they can't play, and if they do, we have to forfeit the game. Even more recently, Mark has become the faculty mentor to athletics, the go-between between our faculty and our coaches to try to ensure that everything is working smoothly, because kids are going to miss class. Faculty don't want our students to miss class, but in some cases they have to. He has been the go-between for that. But even more so, Dr. Smith has served as, and I think Marty likes to call it, the summer advisor. And what he has done is every student has an advisor. They need to get in certain classes to be able to get 12 units to be able to play in the fall. Well, a lot of times, advisors are out of town, out of country, out of range. And Dr. Smith has been able to fill in for so many years to get kids registered so that come August 1, when things have to be certified, that they're ready to play. And he's done that all on his own time, on his own dime. And more so, he's one of our biggest fans. And yes, I like seeing him out on the tennis court playing Cisco Lumbago. It's a lot of fun. So, Meritorious Service Award winner to Dr. Mark Smith. it's not going up on the screen. I think it's probably on extended display. Thank you, Mike. You know, when I see all of you here, and I've known so many of you for so long, I'm deeply touched and deeply honored, and deeply grateful that I was not being recognized for my noon hoops career, because I started out being very bad at basketball, and I've gotten worse since. I still keep trying, but I did give up jumping a few years ago, that whole landing thing. I want to express my appreciation to Regan, to Marty in particular, and also to the many coaches and ex-coaches and assistant coaches that I see here. I've worked with hundreds, maybe even thousands by now, of student athletes in all sorts of different capacities and different issues they're dealing with. And of one thing I can always be sure: when I call the athletic director, when I call a coach and I say, hey, we have a situation, can you help me out here? The answer always is yes. Without hesitation. There's something truly extraordinary that I find hard to explain, but as a faculty member, it's really easy to be in a situation where the academic interests are in tension with athletic interests. I've never, ever experienced that here. When I call up Regan, when I call up a coach and I say, hey, we have a situation going on here, the question is always, what's best for the student? The care within our athletic department about the entirety of the student experience, academic, personal, and athletic, and how it all fits together in the best possible way, it's everywhere. It's in the word work, and that is a tribute to heritage, that is a tribute to leadership, and I am blessed to work in a place like this and work with people like you, so thank you very much.
So when you come to an event like this, you can see this beautiful screen. We're supposed to be having a slideshow that has all of our award winners and some fun pictures and things of that nature. I'm not the smartest person when it comes to PowerPoint. In fact, yesterday was the first time I ever put together a PowerPoint presentation, believe it or not. So I apologize for that, and hopefully we'll be able to get it up and running at some point during our presentation. But our next award winner is a guy who is a complete behind-the-scenes person. When I was growing up, I grew up in the Seattle area, and we got Canadian television. And on CBC, there was a show that was kind of the opposite of Mr. Rogers, and it was Mr. Fix-It. Mike Brewitt is truly Mr. Fix-It for our athletic department. Those of you who have come to enough games in the gym over the years know that nothing ever seems to work right. Times when the shot clock would go out during a basketball game, all of a sudden the scoreboard would shut off. This past season, people can probably remember how ungodly the sound system sounded with a huge, loud pitch that the referees made us unplug everything or they weren't going to let the game continue. The scoreboard at football may not work right. At baseball, it may not work right. But whenever there was an issue with anything of that nature, Mike Brewitt was there 2 seconds and it was fixed. He's put in so much time and effort to try to make sure that everything works well in our gym, at Simplot Stadium, at Wolf Field. But even more importantly, it's what he's done to help our teams. A huge fan. He sits in the front row, right behind the opposing bench at basketball games. He's in the ear of the opposing coach, trying to help us to a victory. And I know our women's basketball team appreciates Mike as well. We've had our women's basketball golf tournament fundraiser in May for the last 11 years now. And Mike is the chef for that fundraiser, cooking steaks, out of his own time to try to help our program and to help our student athletes. One of the great guys we have in this room tonight, Mr. Mike Brewitt.
can't make it go up much higher, so I'll bend down. I got to say thank you, and I think Carl said he doesn't know why I'm here, and I think that speaks more for me than anybody, because I really am not faculty. I haven't gone to school, but I did play here as a kid. My grandma was Mrs. B, dorm mother at Heyman. So as a little kid, I ran up and down Heyman Hall. That's where I started. But since then, I've worked here in the college. But honestly, what I see the most out of Mike and Regan and Marty and Mark and Sean, it's how they treat the kids. And everyone talks about, oh, students here, you know, the coaches help, the teachers help. I don't know much of the faculty up there, but I can tell you this. Every time I've seen anything with the kids, it's always put the kids first. And that meant a lot to me, because to me, if you see people doing something to help someone else up, that's who you want to support. And that's why I've always supported this college, and I think it's just great. You know, it's still that from growing up with my parents. They've taught me to be right, be just, and I'll tell you, I can't say enough for all the guys I've known here and helped out. And don't think it's just because I need this, because I told Marty, I said, you should find somebody else, because I'm not part of this whole clan, but I'll help out and I'll do what I can. But thank you guys. It means a lot to me. Thank you very much.
When our committee was deciding on the Meritorious Service Award, there were some names of families that came up. And we were debated amongst each other. Is this something for an individual? Is it something for a husband and wife? Is it something for a family? And so we threw the names of Rex and Deanne Rodwell out and said, they're truly one of the first families of this institution. You know, Rex went to school at the C of I, albeit the old grade school that they had on campus here back in yesteryear. He went first grade at the campus school here at C of I. They've been involved with our basketball programs for 40 years. They watched games when the basketball team was playing in Kirkpatrick, and then O'Connor Fieldhouse, and now the Activity Center. They went and watched the basketball team, drove all the way back to Kansas City to watch our basketball team play at the NAI National Tournament. They hosted meals for our basketball team during the holidays when the food service was closed. I remember seeing Deanne and Rex hoist this big, huge, I think it was made out of bale of hay. It was just this, in a pumpkin of a yote that was sitting outside Scott Garson's office for like 3 months. I've seen Deanne running the registration table at all of our camps that we run. If you go into the Activity Center now and you go down into the bowels of the building, a lot of work has been done to try to help create the moisture issues that we've had down there. Rex has worked tirelessly to create some vents to be able to do so. He's fixed the floors in the locker rooms. They painted the men's basketball coaching office to create, which is a legacy wall, that we're hoping that every men's basketball player that's ever played at the college will sign that kind of as a testament of what we've built. And a lot of that comes for what Rex and Deanne have done for this great institution. And I know that Rex was recently honored at our commencement with a presidential medallion for the College of Idaho, the highest award that can be given by our presidents. It really is a testament to what they mean to this great school. And I'm very, very proud to have our first husband and wife inducted into the Hall of Fame, Rex and Deanne Rodwell.
Thank you, Mike. We sure appreciate this, and we appreciate everybody showing up, and thank you all. I will now turn it over to my supervisor, as I have been told to keep my mouth shut.
Thank you. Rex and I are very honored to receive this award and would also like to congratulate the recipients of the awards tonight. We have enjoyed our association with the college over the years and have many fond memories. It's been our privilege to be able to impact the lives of students, athletes, and coaches, and seeing their success on and off the field has made us very proud. Thank you.
How about one more round of applause for our 6 Meritorious Service Award winners?